Hello and welcome back my fellow friends to a new episode of Kerbal space program JNSQ. And like we stopped in the last episode, we have docked and refueled most of our first space station's fuel tanks. So we're going to head out today towards the moon and finally complete these two contracts here, especially the one is finally, was the other one is just a means to make this one make more sense to do. But anyhow, there are a couple of things I want to do first. First of all, I want to, renaming vessel, finally giving this unmanned space station a space station logo. Okay, check, completed this. Next up, we're going to undock these two spacecraft, aka we're going to take our fuel tank, which has, a lot more fuel than I actually thought it would have. Flip it around, press Z, continue to flip around uncontrollably because I forgot to press the T key for SAS. We are pointing retrograde, and should we deorbit? I'm actually debating right now. Should we even deorbit this thing? Up until this point I was super sure we were not gonna have a lot of fuel and this and that. But right now we barely have fuel. That might be true, but this could be very well a rather solid how is it called? Like a actual fuel tanking module to a space station if we are ever going to build one. So let's rename it for the time being and leave it in orbit, because I'm actually, up until this point where I started recording, I was super sure already decided to throw it away. Actually, Tanker 1, that's actually a pretty good name. I actually was pretty sure we're gonna throw it away and be done with it, who cares. But right now I started to be a bit unsure, which is kind of bad right at the moment where I'm starting to record a new episode. That makes no sense, I know. But anyhow, we are going to do first things first anyway. So we're going to select the man as a target, then we're going to have a look, where is the man on the horizon approximately. That's approximately like immediately. So let's do this in one orbit. Going to do a nice 1,000... That's already too much. 1,000 something meters per second burn. And there we have a nice man encounter. Let's actually move the maneuver node a bit here. If we can grab it. We could actually get something like this, an even cheaper encounter. Oh, or not. No, we're not gonna get one. Something like this. There we go. Now let's have a look at the man. Let's adjust our encounter thingy a bit. Actually, we are pointing exactly towards that one, so let's use the small maneuver tool down here. And we are pretty much, that seems solid for our first thing. And then we're going to do a mid-course correction bit. So let's time warp until the maneuver node. And whilst time warping in low Cuban orbit in JNSQ, every single time I'm super surprised by how ludicrously large Cuban is compared to the stock Cuban variant. And this really shows the scale, and I actually talked about this last time as well, and I'm really happy that I actually decided to do a JNSQ series, because it really feels like a totally different experience. It is maybe a bit over the top, like I'm saying right now, but just imagine that having the real world underneath you. That's quite, like Earth underneath you, that's kind of quite impressive, if I may say so. Okay, so we are T-minus 3 minutes and 2 minute burn time. Okay, we're gonna start burning at T-minus 1 minute, and the maneuver node is towards the bottom, so we're going to flip around that way and press the Z key right now. There we go, that's approximately pointing prograde and target. You can barely see the man over there. I'm not sure whether you can see this on YouTube though. So there you can see the tanker craft, and approximately halfway between the horizon and the marker, there's the man, like exactly where the cursor is, if you can see that. But anyhow, enough of cursing of talking about that. Let's time warp. We're going to the man, so we should have a look at the man. Oh, and now we're actually going to pass straight next to the tanker again. That's actually a quite dangerous maneuver. That would never happen in real life. Ah, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So, by the way, we are already 5 minutes into the episode, doing a nice transfer burn, going towards the completion of the entire mission set here. And I actually want to talk about, or actually ask one little question. How are you actually enjoying the JNSQ series? Do you prefer it over the regular, or, well, regular might not actually be a the correct term right now, because I haven't done a lot of other KSP videos, or I just reduced it rather, the number of other KSP videos, because like I already mentioned in a previous episode, I think I'm quite busy. I'm trying to pre-record a bunch of videos, and I'm going to reduce the cadence of all of my videos, aka going to do some JNSQ, some stock KS, well, it's not quite stock since we do have a couple of visual mods KSP versions. So I'm quite curious to hear from you guys. What do you prefer? Whether you like both more or less equally, or do you prefer one or the other? I'm definitely not going to stop either of them, so you shouldn't be afraid of that, in case you don't want your favorite to stop appearing. But I'm just curious, I want to know here. I cannot auto warp that far because I haven't even done the maneuver. So yeah, I'm quite curious. Like I said, I'd like to know that, since just to know more about you, my viewers, what your preferences are, what do you like more, what do you like less, and to keep things like interesting content for you guys. That's the most important thing here. Another small thing is, there we go, that's pretty much acceptable. We will have to do a correction in this direction, I think. No, that's not quite what I want to do. I have to bring the inclination a bit further down towards the equator, while still pointing a bit radially outward. So that's the goal that I'm trying to do right now. The thing is, I'm actually running out of ideas for this stock. Yeah, for my stock series. I don't want to have this highlighted, thank you. I'd rather actually select this one as a target. There we go, that's fine by me, I guess. So let's move warp all the way there. So because I'm running out of ideas for the stock, there's Kerbal, so the man should be right there. There it is, there. I'm running out of ideas what I could do in the stock series. So the last mission I recorded was a space shuttle mission. I'm not quite sure whether probably it's already out. Wait, actually it's going to come out today. What a stupid wow, how was I so unsure it's actually going to be released right in a couple of hours, since today's Friday. Unless you've maybe noticed, I'm always uploading Friday, and prior to the kind of reduction of my cadence, Wednesday as well. So with that being said, I have actually no clue what I should do as my next stock Kerbal Space Program mission, and I do want to do at least one more before kind of finishing things up, like finishing the pre-recordings for the next more or less month or so. That's going to be it. So I'm quite curious to hear suggestions, be that actually for JNSQ, despite JNSQ actually having a pretty solid plan. I mean, we're going to explore the Mun next, and after the Mun is done, we're going to go to Minmus. We're just generally progressing through the entire Kerbal system and visiting the new planets and everything, so that's quite interesting for sure. So we have still a lot of things to do, and I'm actually going to use the smaller probe, or the probes engines, to come and do a, not re-entry, a rendezvous, since we are not low on fuel. We're pretty much like I anticipated. Still have enough full margin of error, so that's good. That's definitely good. And we are, like I already said, we have already locked the fuel tanks in the actual space station module. Since this is my transfer stage, we have still a bit of fuel, these 300 meters per second, and this fuel here is locked in case. Well, primarily the idea behind it is once we're going to do a regular manned mission or a manned man or a Kerbal manned mission rather, and once we kind of return from it or try to return from it, we can dock with the space station and get some fuel. Okay, brilliant. Now it's time to do a nice and circular orbit. Where's my apoapsis? There it is. Just like that. Approximately 55 is my goal, I think. 56, 54, that's brilliant. Now you're going to switch over to our probe if I'm ever going to find it. Switch to do correction burns. Now today we have a lot of orbital maneuverings. Set as target. There you go. We are just about to approach the inclination thing change part. Ascending node. There we go. Time to burn. Oh, and we don't have probe control. Brilliant. Totally forgot about that. We don't have enough communications arrays to do these kinds of things on the far side of the Mun. There we go. This one should actually have a relay antenna. So in theory we should be able to communicate via the space station, but it's not going to help us at all if the space station is also out of line of sight. There you go. So now we can use this one. Flipping around, and this should be the right way to do a correction burn as far as I'm aware of it. Yes, and inclination 0.5, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, and that's close enough. Now, do we want to go into a higher orbit or into a lower? What makes more sense? Like, we are, in terms of relation to the space station, closer if we, like, we're closer to being behind it than we're close to being in front of it, so it makes more sense. We're going to catch up to it faster than the other way around. So let's reduce our orbital velocity 20 kilometers. I just hope we're not going to hit another time warp threshold underneath 20 kilometers. That would be kind of painful. Oh, 40 kilometers is the threshold. Well, that might take a while, so I guess it's faster if we're going to skip forward. So see you guys in just a second. So here we are approaching the space station after actually 3 entire orbits. So it was quite a while, and I'm really glad that I stopped the recording, otherwise it would have been way too boring. So I've been here for probably more than 5 minutes, probably almost, not quite 10, but almost, doing this orbital maneuver. Well, actually just time warping, raising our apoapsis, and now we're here cancelling our relative velocity and parking literally next to our space station. Sadly, I have no docking port, but there's no point in bringing a docking port either way. So yeah, so we're quickly doing a nice screenshot here. We can see the Mun below us and the 2 spacecrafts here with the probably this is going to be our thumbnail. Anyhow, we have actually completed the rendezvous exploring the Mun contract. Brilliant, because that's exactly our goal here. And during the time warp phase, we've also completed the... Okay, that's the Mun contract. There we go, 160 funds, 50 science points. Exploring the Mun, beautiful, synchronized free-falling is nearly as daunting as it sounds. And then we have built a new orbital space station around the Mun, 140,000, 70,000 funds as well. Filled first milestone, we have performed a rendezvous around the Mun. Brilliant, all messengers cleared. We have our space station here with our Kerbal. Speaking of Kerbal, have we? Are you here? Crew report. Yes, EVA. I totally forgot about that. Can we actually get some free science? No, we can't. Ah, wait. Cannot warp faster than one with the Kerbal on the ladder. God darn it, I was hoping to fly around the biomes and try gaining some science, but that does not seem like it's going to happen. Either way, this craft has no additional scientific instruments. Well, these two, we could restore them in theory if we had a scientist. We don't have one, so that means off we go to the Space Center. Why are you going to go to the Space Center? The most important part, the interesting thing is, now the next couple of contracts, whether we have actually a new first milestone contract thing. So now we have a new day at the Kerbal Space Center. Off we go to the mission control. Let's see what we've got. Exploration. Explore Minmus? Okay, so you want us to go first to Minmus before landing on the moon. Return to Kerbal from a flyby of Minmus. Very well understood. We can do another rescue Kerbal mission. A satellite into an equatorial satellite with an absolutely terrible app. Actually, no, it's not that bad. A new space station, a new orbital space station around Kerbal, so that's why we actually breathe. Chief bottle washer. I totally forgot what was talking about. Oh yeah, the fuel tanker that we had, we could totally bring that one and utilize this as a part of our space station. Space station, docking port, generating power, as 5 Kerbals. Now I actually want to have first a larger amount or larger parts to build this one. So you're out. Service, I absolutely hate doing surveys, so I'm not going to do that. Orbit around Kerbal for prestige. That would be doable, that's not difficult mission, but I don't really see the point in doing it, it's not worth it. Testing part, orbiting, no, plant the flag on the moon. Okay, so this is definitely something we're going to do in the near future. Near future, I was actually expecting you to tell me bring back a Kerbal from the surface of the moon. But as it seems you want us to go to Minmus, so yeah, building a new surface outpost on Minmus. No, that's not going to happen. We are, however, going to explore Minmus next, so we're going to take this, we got 70,000 funds in advance. I do want to build a space station in the near future. Rescuing Kerbal, we need more Kerbals, so I'm going to pick this contract as well. It's easy. And these tourists... I'm actually thinking about completing the tourist contracts and the rescue Kerbal contract in the same launch, but then the other side, on the other hand, that's huge. We don't have large command capsules just yet, sadly. So let's jump into the R&D center. We've got 40 science. I know we cannot buy anything except aviation, something we don't really need. Aerodynamics and aviation together would give us interesting science planes flying around Kerbal. Command modules. This would give us Mark II command pods, and this would be good for exactly this type of mission that I'm thinking about right now. But we're short a lot of science points. While we're here, actually, I'm interested what we could do next. So solar panels is something I want. Precise engineering. Yeah, that's not bad. Space exploration. Yeah, here we go. Hitchhiker storage container. This is something I want to have for the space station before starting construction of the how's it called? Kerbal space station. Is hitchhiker storage container. Then in a future launch, so not immediately after that, I would want to go and get the... Where's the science lab? There we have it. Mobile processing lab. So these two parts, what was it? Oh, they're literally consecutive. So these two parts before building a space station is what I want to have, and capsules, larger capsules. And in order to launch all of this into orbit, we need more rocketry. So that's pretty much the progression. Anyways, we're at 20 minutes. We're gonna do a small rendezvous rescuing another Kerbal from orbit. Yes, and I think we've actually already done that at some point. Have we got the Science Hopper, Sub Hopper, Tanker 1, Tourist 1, Orbit 2, Orbiter 4. I'm gonna guess that Orbiter 4 was it. Yes, there we have it. We have, oh yeah, exactly, that's literally the one we've used. Anything else I want to do and use this for? Iso thrust rate ratio looking ridiculously high. That's very, very good, I guess. I have no clue how much fuel we had last time, and I'm really not sure what orbit our Kerbal we're going to rescue is in, so let's just give you a bit more, I guess. Anything I'm missing here, so you're not gonna... Aren't you guys like staged? Shouldn't you be firing and you be firing first? And then you? Oh, actually no. Because we're gonna ditch them later. I thought we'd ditch these first. Ah, whatever. It was alright, I guess. Whatever, we will see, we will see. But as things look, are you guys not on 100% throttle? That way you are not on 100% throttle, yeah, so let's take you down even further. There we go, Orbiter 4, fine, we're not going to bring a Kerbal. No, we've got actually 2 of you in here. Anyway, that's fine. What should we bring someone for a level up? Everybody is leveled up? No, Bob Crewman is not, so let's bring Bob along for the ride. Safe go. That's actually quite few cuts, since the loading scenes are quite short. I'm not really interested. There we go, this is our new target. What else is in low Cuban orbit? The tanker. Okay, brilliant. So let's wait a tiny bit until it's a 100 kilometer orbit. That seems good. 100% throttle, give me my liquid fuel and go. That's way too much thrust. Cutting the thrust immediately. Wait, we want to ditch the liquid fuel tanks first, so that we actually do want to use the liquid fuel. Okay, there we go. The SRBs are burned out, so it actually makes no sense. We're now lugging around empty mass. Ah, whatever. Actually, I think we should rework our small launch vehicles in the near future either way. I think might be interesting to do this. Let's have a look at those. Who's going to run out first? That's quite curious. Actually, no, it's obvious. The SRBs are going to be ditched first. Like the larger SRBs, despite me even throttling them down even further. And there they go. Do we even have enough thrust rate ratio? No, we don't. Okay, I should not have done that many alterations without even knowing how the rocket performs. But anyways, I don't think it's gonna be a big deal. I mean, we have additional fuel, kind of these 2 tanks here, so that's fine. It's gonna be fine. And we're about to, there you go, we have already a higher thrust rate ratio. So that's all good. Not a great approach, but whatever. And we're about to shed quite a lot of weight. And with that, we're gonna be accelerating a lot faster. There these guys go. And the thrust rate ratio went up by 3.0 almost. And I guess from here on out, this is a regular launch. Things we've seen a couple of times, and the episode is already quite taking a while, so we're gonna see each other once we've actually rendezvoused. Okay, here we are, just one orbit after taking off, approaching our close approach with our target. Where is it? There it is, 1000 meters ahead of us. Brilliant. So we just have to cancel our relative velocity, which is 20 meters per second, 26 meters per second, and we still have 500 meters per second of delta V in a 100 by 120 kilometer orbit. So this is pretty darn solid in terms of actual spare performance. Usually I was like, in stock KSP, I would say, oh, only 500 meters, that's not really a lot. Well, it is a lot, how should I say? It's a lot, you can get really, really, really far. So that's a lot of spare fuel. But right now, in JNSQ, where you're not really able to go that far with only 500 meters per second, it makes still even more difference having that amount of fuel left when you're doing something like this. So that's kind of very different, or it feels very differently, I have to say it like this. Anyways, we are now coasting towards the target in a very weird fashion, I guess. I want to get approximately 500 meters before EVAing out, and there we go, that's even closer than 500 meters. That's 50 meters. In a weird capsule is this Desiree Kerman, who is also a scientist. So we have now a bunch of scientists, and maybe one of them is actually going to go to the Mun space station, if I think about it. Wrong button. If I think about it right now, because oh, look down there, there's the KSC, we can see the KSC, look at this, oh my goodness, I never expected this, oh my goodness, this has to be a screenshot, or saved as a screenshot. Down there is the KSC, oh my wow, that was no super surprising. Okay, so now, where's the hatch? Come on, give me the hatch, give me the hatch. Am I so dumb that I can't even get into this hatch? Would you please be so nice and grab the hatch here? Or is this not the hatch? Is that thing the hatch? This is something I absolutely hate on these capsules. I've no clue where the hatch is. Okay, so this window is not the hatch. Is this one the hatch? Doesn't seem like it. I'm pressing against it, but I can't press any buttons to enter it. There we go, that's the crew hatch. That seems like a hatch. And come on. There we go, grab. There we go, finally. Okay, brilliant. We have a new Kerbal aboard. We have saved the Desiree Kerman. It's now part of our crew program. We are pointing retrograde, full thrust, and down we go, splashdown. So with that being said, things are finished. We are slowing down, going down from our orbit down to a suborbital trajectory, running out of fuel, detaching that contraption, and we are parachutes engaged, re-entry module, re-entering. All things considered, a perfect successful mission. Actually the third mission that we completed, or will complete in just a couple of seconds. So with that being said, I really hope you have enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you are enjoying, like I said, Kerbal Space Program JNSQ, the entire series, and we've again taken a bit too long. Usually I would say let's actually wait and skip forward to the landing and show the mission profile thingy where you can see you've gained this Kerbal, you've got that much science points, things and that, but I'm gonna end it right now with this fiery re-entry that we can see here, because well, there's nothing else to talk about. So have a nice week, and until next time, Spaceship signing out.